hello, this is a pre-tape, so I don't know how to greet you. I don't know when this is. Could this be next year? Could we live on the moon now? It's your choice as much as mine, but this is SJU. I believe it's still called that, and I'm Roth Cornett. That's Dan Merle.
Hello.
Hello. Still with his maiden name, Spencer Gilbert.
Hello from the vault.
Hello, Joe Starr.
Hi from the future.
Hello.
I'm a robot now.
Billy Business is over there, and he's always been a robot.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm here for pre-tape number 4.
Pre-tape, he's just checking it off his list. We're going to talk about movies that were made but never released. This happens. We'll talk about why this happens, specifically in some of these cases, and generally why movies are sometimes shelved. A lot of times it's because they're not good. But there are other reasons as well, and that it's better to take the loss than release them. But there are other reasons as well. We're going to talk about some of those, starting with Don's Plum.
His plums.
Don's Plums.
Deep down in Don's plums.
I think this is one of my,
glistening.
I think this is one of my favorites for a
dancing off of them.
It's from Eastbound and Down.
Yeah, sorry, I bring it up a lot.
No, it's good. Do you watch Vice Principals?
I watched the first season.
Yeah, it gets so dark.
In the second
towards
one?
the end of that. Well, at the end
mean,
of that first
yeah.
season, yeah. Well, that's been our show. Don's Plum, 2001. I love this one. This is a black and white independent film. And it was starring some of the hippest young stars of the day. None other than Leonardo. And I'm going to read this list exactly as written. Leonardo DiCaprio, Tobey Maguire, Kevin Connolly, and Leonardo DiCaprio. He should be on there twice.
So nice, he's on it twice.
He should be on there twice because he's the biggest deal. Anyway, this was an improvisational film in which they were depicted in a somewhat unsavory light, misogynistic, offensive, and Leonardo DiCaprio and Tobey Maguire thought, oh, this is going to expose like who we really are because it's riffing on us so much and it's going to give us a bad impression. So basically they got a bunch of lawyers and they suppressed the release of the film in the United States and Canada, which makes me want to fly to France right now to find this sucker and see.
Yeah, can we see this internationally? Can people stream Don's Plum in Sweden?
So apparently, and I don't want to jump the gun here from Roth, but you will never see this movie thanks to its 2 lead stars. Actually 3, Leonardo, and Tobey Maguire.
Yeah.
Is Lucas Haas in this one? I don't know, but I'm going to guess that he is.
He probably
Yeah,
would
and then
be.
the other member of the P-word posse, David Blaine.
Oh, yeah.
Was David Blaine in it?
David Blaine
Is he
was
the
in
one
it.
that made the movie disappear?
I didn't realize that about David Blaine. So the P word.
But of course he is,
If you
right?
guys don't know what the P word posse is, it's the basketed kittens. It's the
Posse galore.
posse
Posse
galore.
galore.
And basically, these young stars.
Yeah, when they
Kevin
were
Connolly was also
in the movie.
Kevin Connolly.
This was like, sometimes you come up with a name for your friend group, like, the A Squad or like the SJU team or whatever we call ourselves.
Is that what we call ourselves?
And then later in front of the Supreme Court, you insist that those names don't mean what
What
they
you said.
clearly mean.
Exactly. So this is like a devil's
They like to
triangle
go
of
to cat
stars
shelters.
who they would play their drinking game.
I was lifting weights with Leo.
Toby, Kevin.
Kevin liked beer. Leo liked beer.
Yeah, but we don't hold them to the same standard as we do lifetime appointments to the Supreme Court. But they are young guys who were at that peak of Hollywood in the late '90s, early 2000s, and I don't know, maybe they were just cat fans, but that's what they called themselves.
Yeah,
They
I'm
loved
sure that
cats.
was it. They liked kitty cats. Yeah, they. Did you guys see Molly's Game?
Yes.
Okay, so in Molly's Game, there is a character called Player X, played by
Topher Grace.
No,
Michael Cera.
Michael
No,
Cera.
I'm thinking of Topher Grace playing cards in the
Yeah.
Ocean's movies.
Yes.
But
I get it all mixed up.
Topher Grace could be in this mix too, probably.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's played by Michael Cera,
Yes.
and he is just the epitome of evil. Player X is this young Hollywood star who's like cruel to people for the sake of being cruel, just awful. And rumor has it, I don't think I'm doing anything like everyone
this
knows
is in every review of the movie.
Yeah, it's Tobey Maguire was Player X, and so
New Spider-Man, right?
so
like,
it's so
off
disappointing.
Picture for the school paper.
Oh, so anyway, they didn't want the people thinking that they were who they are.
Yeah.
So they suppressed them.
Good call.
So it's probably a good call on
I
their
mean,
part.
jumping into this is the early 90s version of Louis C.K.'s movie that never dropped. This is them putting their biography like on the screen and being like, except they were wise enough at the end to be like, oh,
right,
maybe I shouldn't put my worst tendencies on the big screen for everyone to see and judge me for. They were smart enough to lawyer up.
Yeah, I think when you get famous and successful enough, you're like the Riddler, where you try to leave clues to your own depravity.
Yeah.
Like daring them to catch me.
They'll never find this one.
And to be fair, these guys were at the time in their 20s?
Like early 20s,
early
some
20s.
of them.
Early
Like-
20s A-list celebrities.
Yeah, honestly, it's kind of like, yeah, I'm sure, but they
Right.
wanted.
We don't know that they were like being abusive or anything,
Yeah.
but they were certainly being young guys.
They're being young guys, and they were being young guys that basically their bread and butter, to our previous point. I mean, not yet, but for DiCaprio, it was being a heartthrob that's so romantic and look, he's in love forever. Like, you don't want that to be like, no, that's not what's happening at all. And then Tobey Maguire was Spider-Man shortly thereafter, so, or around-ish.
I
Eternally
think
14
Spider-Man
years
was
old.
a bit on the tail
On
end
the
of
tail
the
end, yeah.
posse galore.
Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
This is 1994's Roger Corman's Fantastic Four, which never officially. This one you can find. It's bootlegged very frequently.
It's on YouTube.
And it's on the it's on the YouTube.
on
So
the
you can find it
YouTubes,
right
yeah.
here, but find it after we're done with this.
In my day, we called YouTube the VHS bins at the sci-fi convention.
Yes,
Yeah.
very much so.
That thing, good God.
The thing is, though, the thing in this movie looks better than the Michael Chiklis thing.
Yeah,
I will
it
fight.
really
I will
does.
fight
It's not
for
the
that.
worst thing
It's
I've
not the
ever
worst
seen.
thing. Yeah, it might be actually the best cinematic thing. If you see it in motion, it's not half bad. Everyone else, awful.
It's the arms. The Fantastic's arms are truly the worst
they're
practical
amazing.
effect on film.
Have you ever seen this?
I haven't seen it.
It's the last shot is Reed and Sue get married at the end, and the just married car is driving off, and this big long arm is just like out the side. It's so good.
So the lesson to be learned from this one, besides that we should just go to Roger Corman for the next Fantastic Four to do the thing, if only the thing.
Just the thing.
Just the thing. That's the only part of the movie he can do. And the wigs. I have such a problem with her. You know how I feel about Sue Storm's wig.
You are really hung up on this wig.
Wig watch.
You know what?
That was a bad wig.
Hollywood has a wig problem, and it needs to be addressed. So
They
if
need
you
Danielle to
have
save
the rights to make a movie and you don't make the movie, you could lose the rights. So sometimes people make movies just for that reason, or studios make movies just for that reason, production companies. So this was meant to be a $30 million budget, and then it was $1 million.
Yep.
Well, it's at Roger Corman. You give him a 4-week shooting schedule. It's like, I'll do it in 4 days.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ahead of time and under budget.
Roger Corman, man, he's a gem.
Yeah, and then this kicked the football down the field long enough. Was it 2004, like 10 years later when we got the first Fantastic Four movie?
2005.
2005.
Yeah.
Okay, so they just made it like by the skin of their teeth. They again kicked the football down to Fan Four Stick, who then again
Kick the football
kicked
down
the football
to-
into Marvel's hands. It was a turnover.
Yeah.
And now, where do we go from here? You know who was
Turnover
supposed
and
to- You know who was supposed to direct it? I don't think it was this one, not the Roger Corman one, but I think the 2004 was Peyton Reed. Wasn't he in talks to do that one?
I believe he had pitched a 60s set
Yeah.
Version
Which
of the
would've been- he
Fantastic
would've been
Four.
great at
one
that.
point. Yeah.
And then Pixar made it.
Yeah.
The Pixar made it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think he
no,
wanted
this
like
is-
George Clooney as Mr. Fantastic, and it was
Okay.
all going to be like set in like a period thing, and because he'd done Down with Love,
Down with Love, yeah.
which
Yeah.
was a period thing, and people just kind of dug that whole but it never came to be.
I dug that movie.
Yeah,
I
there's,
think he would have made a great.
There's some joyous
Fantastic
stuff
Four.
in this movie, man. All the special effects are incredible. The acting's great. When Sue's powers first show up, they just like remove the bottom half of her body. Like you can tell it's just an overlay, and then suddenly she's just like the bottom half of her is gone, and the guy that plays Reed just goes, "Sue, your legs." It's amazing. It's just
Human
oh.
Torch is like hand animated,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, just like hand drawn fire.
Yeah.
Oh, so, yeah. Gotta see
Good
this
stuff.
why wasn't this released? Tragedy upon tragedy. So this one, I
Speaking
know
of tragedy.
a few people have been waiting to see this one for a while. The
Don's
Day the
Plum
Clown
2.
Cried. This is from 1972, Jerry Lewis. This is a movie, World War II drama about a circus clown who leads children to the gas chambers in Auschwitz. So
That early use of emoji there on the
So,
title. The day
yeah.
that cried.
yeah, Lewis rightfully buried this and made sure it was not released. And then rumor has it that he shows it sometimes to people, that when Roberto Benigni was making Life is Beautiful,
Beautiful.
he would show it to him. And I heard
If
a
they make a goal in
rumor.
the telethon, that's the reward.
Yeah, I heard a rumor that eventually that it's X number of years after Jerry Lewis's death that it'll be released.
Wow.
And people will be able to. That's just a rumor.
Wasn't it Harry Shearer who I think first? I want to say it was Harry Shearer that saw a screening of this and was like
Really?
sort of one of the first people to be like, "Oh my,
Oh my God, it
Yeah.
is that bad.
It is. I just like. But I just like this fact that it's elusive. Like I think I remember hearing that at some points, and this has become like a Hollywood myth, but like that Jerry Lewis had like a locked briefcase like in his office that had the
one
print of the
print.
film
Yeah,
in
wow.
it. That
But he
it would
couldn't
just
bring
be
himself
like,
to destroy it.
people would just be like, "Where? What happened to the day the clown cried?" And he'd just be like, "It's right there."
Yeah.
It's his Horcrux.
But don't
Wow.
you think that makes so much sense to me, because he's so like nasty. I don't know if he's mean or not, but you hear that he's got some tendencies. I feel like he's the type of like it's like a masochistic tendency. Like he would break that out every once in a while just to like feel the pain of it. Like that tracks to me.
Well,
it's like a really, really, really.
Get that.
We're what, a year past his passing, right? So we know it wasn't instant, or else it would have
Yeah.
been released. So yeah, I wonder if there was some kind of a proviso in his last will and testament to be like, it's 30 years, it's 40 years, it's
Yeah.
50 years.
Well, you
Goes
hope
on
whatever he would want, people would respect it. Because if it was that bad and he really didn't want people to see it, that he didn't supervise, then you hope
I'm
that
sure,
that's just
I'm sure there's
respected.
someone in the estate or something, and some studio is going to offer, Netflix is going to offer the estate enough money, and they're going to be like, yeah, I already blew through most of the dude's money, so yeah, here you go. Here's the day the clown cried.
I just
I-
think it's a piece of history at this
Yeah.
point. Like it's
Yeah.
not so much. I don't think it could or should be released for like critical consumption in the
Yeah.
sense of like let's determine the critical consensus.
yeah.
It should. It's like I think at this point it is just a very intriguing slice of Hollywood's
But
history.
don't you think
Yeah.
that there's like massive the producers potential here, where like this is like Springtime for Hitler, and it's like so bad,
Oh,
it's the greatest
that it
movie
Of
ever
becomes a
course,
huge
made.
yeah.
hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
That's very
So
possible.
I wonder who then, like, does it go into his estate or?
So, just from doing a little research right now, Jerry Lewis donated a print of his cut of the film. It was a rough cut. It was never actually polished and finished. He donated a cut of the film to the Library of Congress in 2015 with the condition that it not be screened for at least 10 years.
Okay, all right,
Okay,
2025.
10 years from
10
then?
years from then?
Yeah.
or from when
It's-
he died.
Well, it's unclear. It's also unclear now who exactly owns the right,
Like-
because he did have a producing partner. So it's not 100% sure if it's all in the Lewis estate or if it was a mix. The odds of seeing this legally are slim.
But that is the rumor. It was like X years after he passed
Yeah.
away, he would let people see it. That's amazing. I think like the idea of the sad clown, I think I first learned when it applies to Jerry Lewis. Like the idea of like comedians that are really tortured because of The King of Comedy, which was one of my favorite movies, as we've talked about previously. And that character that he plays in The King of Comedy, I think my parents said, oh, that's his actual nature. He's more like that than any of the characters he's ever played. That's been, anyway, who knows? But
anytime I
rest
picture
in
this
peace, Jerry
movie-
Lewis, and I hope he gets what he wants out of it.
I picture the Animaniacs parody version of him. I don't know if you've ever seen those episodes of Animaniacs. They're incredible. They do Heart of Darkness with Jerry Lewis, like the studio
remember
sends.
that one.
It's awesome
All right.
if you haven't seen him. But yeah, I always picture just the weird animated Jerry Lewis from Animaniacs doing whatever this movie is.
So twice now it's been the talent themselves have made sure a movie did
So,
not. And
whoopsies.
you have to be pretty powerful.
I went through pre-production, production, and post-production, and then I realized,
Nope.
not very good.
Yeah, nope. You have to be pretty powerful as an actor or a group of actors to make that happen. So that also speaks to that. All American Massacre Walk us through this one, Joe Star.
Sure. William Hooper, who was Toby Hooper's son, who directed the first two Texas Chainsaw Massacres, he directed a flashback prequel starring Bill Moseley, who reprised Chop Top from Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. It's got a heavy metal score by Buckethead, who you may know as Replacement Slash.
Okay, hang on. Respect to Buckethead. Have you ever heard him live?
Oh, yeah. No, he's great,
Yeah.
but he's also Replacement Slash.
I know him as the guy that replaced Slash.
Hang on.
That's
Hang
also
on.
what
I mean,
knew.
okay, I'm sorry.
I'm not saying he's not talented, but that's how I know him.
Buckethead
Buckethead,
all
a.k.a. a
about
special
Buckethead.
friend to Primus.
Okay.
Yes.
A little better?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Also,
Okay.
my friend Christy did fire dancing with him.
Well,
so
there you go.
Buckethead of my
Did he have
friend
the bucket
Christy.
on his head?
He always has the bucket on his head. Caleb
if
did a music
Buckethead-
video with him, and he literally does always have it on his head. He's very shy.
Oh, that's
He is really. That's why he wears it. He's just really, really shy, and crazy
Perfectly
talented.
normal.
Buckethead is an amazing musician. So is Slash.
He
But
was like the first Sia.
Well, maybe if your friend Christy wasn't so shy about her fire dancing, then Buckethead would first be known as the person who fire danced with Christy. But
Wow.
as
Yeah.
it stands, I know him as the person that replaced Slash.
in any event,
what's this movie?
It was a prequel to Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
it's like when we do pre-tapes. It's like we think no one's ever gonna see it.
Yes,
Yeah.
this is our day the clown cried.
But this will
a coin
be
flip.
somewhere, I think.
This is not our day, the clown cried. I just want to put that very specifically.
It could be. I'm just gonna throw it out
I
there.
don't know.
We
I've
still have a
already-
few more to go.
I've already said a
Yeah.
few things that I'm like, I don't know if that needed to be said. Joe Star, you were saying.
That's kind of it with this one.
Yep.
Yeah,
When was it made?
doesn't say.
Who's to
I
say?
don't know, man.
What's it called? We can all look it up.
All American Massacre.
I've never heard of this one. I think Roth just sabotaged me on purpose.
I didn't. I really was just tired of reading.
Can I pitch a couple that I found?
Yeah.
There's one called Empires of the Deep.
Oh yeah. I have that written at the top of my page.
It's a
Do
Chinese
this.
film. Reportedly $130 million budgeted Chinese film that was made post Avatar. There's a
Yeah.
Chinese billionaire who made it his pet project. It's like a Chinese version of Poseidon, and it stars Olga Kurylenko, who was in
Wow.
it was like in James
Yeah.
Bond, and it's never been released. It was
There's a
Why?
trailer.
there's a trailer, and the trailer was so poorly received when it came out that the movie has never been released.
Wow.
130 to 140 million dollar investment,
Yeah.
and it's just
There's like
Nowhere.
mer people fighting crocodile men.
yeah.
What?
There's a
and,
bunch
it
of pictures
looks
that they put
bonkers.
out,
Yeah.
stills that
That's
they put out.
basically Aquaman, what you just
Yeah.
described.
It is.
But like Roger Corman made Aquaman. That's kind of what it looks like.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my
So you
God.
I
that
kind of
sounds
want to
amazing.
know where that 150 went.
Yeah.
Because it did not go into the budget of this movie.
Yeah, it was a write down on his taxes.
I think so.
And there's one that because I'm sort of a particularly an SNL nerd. There's one that never came out that was made in the early '80s called Nothing Lasts Forever. And it was written and directed by Tom Schiller, who, if you watch the early days of SNL, they would have these things called Schiller's Reels, and they would be like little, like Albert Brooks did it for a while, and then Tom Schiller would make these like little short films. Like I believe he did the one, if you've ever seen it, where it's John Belushi, and he's like the last surviving SNL cast member, and it's like it ends with him like dancing on their graves and stuff. They're really like fun little things, and it's produced by Lorne Michaels. It's written and directed by Tom Schiller. It stars Zach Galligan from Gremlins, and Bill Murray's in it. Dan Aykroyd's in it, and it's like a sci-fi type movie. But they did like a press screening, and it was so bad that it never came out. And I think it's aired like one time on Turner Classic Movies at like 2 a.m, and then it leaked. But Turner like had it removed. Like you cannot find it anywhere. But it's like from
A
these
lost SNL movie.
yeah, it's basically one of the early SNL movies, like around the time of the Blues Brothers,
wow.
of taking talent from the show and then Lorne Michaels producing it, and it's gone.
Cool.
There's also just a number of, so we talk about Blumhouse quite a bit, right? Because they're like, the model is amazing. Every time they knock it out of the park, they spend $1 million and they make $500 million back. We say it just like that. But there are movies that they make that they shelve, that are just never seen, that they realize are not going to be that model,
Yeah.
and they
Yeah.
just shelve them, and you never see them. There's movies like that are shelved until the people that are in them happen to become a star. So this was during the bankruptcy, I think, that when MGM was going through their bankruptcy, and they had the remake of Red Dawn. And so in that mix, the Red Dawn remake was shelved. Well, Chris Hemsworth was in that, and he then blew up and became famous, and then it was released much later. I think it was in part because of the bankruptcy and in part because of the Chris Hemsworth.
Isn't that why
movie.
Cabin in the Woods
Was
also came out
also came
largely
out later.
because Chris Hemsworth became
Yeah.
a star, and they're like,
wow.
oh,
Yeah.
let's pull this
Off the
weird
shelf.
horror movie off the shelf. Not Blumhouse, but obviously, but
Yeah.
which is super weird to know that it's such a great movie, and maybe
Well,
not for
the
Thor.
Red Dawn one just shouldn't have come out.
No.
Right?
Well, 'cause they
Like, that
changed
should've-
everything,
Yeah, they
didn't
kept having to
they had
change who the bad
change-
guys were.
Yeah.
They kept having to change, like, because it was so clear. Like, when Red Dawn was made, it was, first of all, why is it called Red Dawn? Like, that was speaking to a specific time period of the Red Scare when people in the United States were like, what if Russia invaded? And that's the movie. It's like these teenage Americans, it's Patrick Swayze and Jennifer Grey, and they hated each other on it, which is why when he was going to get cast in Dirty Dancing, she was like, I have a problem with that. And they were like, well, test. And then they were like, oh, you have all this chemistry. And she was like, fine, we'll work it out. But the point is, that movie was of its time. Red Dawn.
Well, it was an interesting anecdote.
Red Dawn made sense at the time, and then you call it Red Dawn, and you keep changing who's red in this scenario.
Because wasn't it supposed to be North Korea,
and
and
then
then
they
they're like,
changed
no,
it.
it can't be North Korea,
Yeah,
and then
and
it's
they
just
changed-
like, red, who knows?
Yeah.
Slap some
Who's to say?
there.
Yeah.
Someone sure is attacking us.
Yeah. They're red. They
like
have
that.
red. They're wearing red. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
weird.
It's the Praetorian Guard from Star Wars.
Well, I think we've done a show.
Oh.
By the way, All
okay.
American Massacre. Very hard to find any information, but the trailer was released sometime in the era of AOL, and the film was shot on high definition videotape. So I'm guessing mid to late 90s, early 2000s.
Sounds about right.
Oh,
You
interesting.
slooped it.
Well, I think our last little side kind of exploration about Dirty Dancing makes me think that another pre-tape we should do is actors who hate each other but play like they love each other. I can name 3 scenarios right now. 1, Gone with the Wind. They didn't hate each other. They just kind of had a
You're
chilly
ruining this
relationship.
pre-tape.
Oh.
Yeah, you're about to take
save it.
like the
I was
three
like, wait,
headliners
we
out
need
of
more
our
of these.
pre-tape.
We're gonna do.
We never know when the internet's
Yeah.
going to
I
be
have one
gone.
more movie we
Oh,
could
you
add.
do?
I was about to say, I
Okay.
didn't. My picks are not meant to end the show. I just wanted to throw a couple out there, please.
Do we think we're ever going to see that New Mutants movie that they made? That
Oh.
Joe visited the set of?
I think we will.
Maybe.
Really?
I don't
I
know.
don't
think we
know.
will.
I don't think that's ever going to come out.
I don't
No?
think it is.
And Joe's been on the set. And
Yeah, it
and
was
interviewed
weird.
the
Yeah, you
cast.
went to the set a
Yeah.
long time
It
ago.
was like
Yeah.
2 years ago.
It was like
A long
There was
time ago.
no gray in my beard when I went and visited that
It's
set.
a horror version of the New Mutants, right?
Yeah.
Will it ever happen?
I don't know if I'm still under embargo.
Okay.
I think you are.
I think I am, and I still
Right?
don't think I can tell you anything I saw on that set. I don't think. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna come out.
Is any of it relevant? Have they reshot everything that you were there to shoot? Are you why? Did you just like walk through the frame or something, and then they're like, we have to reshoot?
Hey, sorry. Yeah, it's just me walking in a frame and going, "That's Danny Moonstar." And just being, hey!
He's in every shot. We can't get him out. We ran out of money.
Well, there's another one. Is the Netflix was able to retool House of Cards without Kevin Spacey.
Yeah.
But I was reading about he did a Gore Vidal biopic for Netflix that is
Yes.
now just
Nope.
going
Sitting
to be never seen
Yeah.
by anyone ever, which is crazy. Like
Yeah.
the fact that I was like Michael Stuhlbarg is in it. Like it's got a cast,
Stuhlbarg.
and it was gonna be like a sort of like All the Money in the World last year. It was gonna be like a big award show.
2016's MVP Michael Stuhlbarg.
Michael Stuhlbarg, MVP of acting.
He was
As far as I'm concerned.
that year.
Michael Stuhlbarg.
Yeah.
Or was it 2017?
I think it might have been 2017.
He was the MVP.
Call Me by Your Name,
Yeah.
Shape of Water.
Shape of Water. That's his
Bridge
year.
of Spies?
It's a good year.
I think he was in Bridge of Spies, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, but that was like 2 years before
Yeah,
that.
sorry.
He played Thanos too.
Yeah.
He played Thanos.
Famously.
Thanos,
Yep.
He played Deadpool this year.
Cable.
Cable. He
I
played
don't
both
think
of them.
I think we should take bets. I don't think we're
Bella
seeing
Swan.
New Mutants famously.
I don't either. I think Disney is going to put that in the vault with the head.
Yeah.
There's too many streaming services, and there's too many alternate venues for them to not ever release it anywhere.
Oh, I
they
can
will
see it
at
being streamed.
least put it out on a streaming service, to sell it to Netflix. Something.
I would pay money for a streaming service that only had the weird
Just
movies
this
that have
weird
been
stuff?
shelved otherwise are buried.
Do you
I would pay good money for that.
Do you think New Mutants could go the way of like a TV movie? Like in the 90s, they did that Generation X movie that's god awful. And so you're just going to see like New Mutants tonight on
they
the
could.
Fox Sunday
Chop
movie.
it up. Yep. Inhumans-ish.
Yeah.
They
Oh,
talk
wow.
about it.
Inhuman
man.
style.
Even Inhumans got a theatrical
that was-
release.
Yeah. That should not have come
Oh,
out.
God.
Remember when that was going to be a movie that came out this year?
Oh, yeah.
Inhumans.
Remember when someone watched the final
And then
cut
you-
of that and they were like,
And you remember when Kevin Feige was
Yep.
like, hey, Jeff, you can have the Inhumans.
Yeah.
Yep.
All yours, buddy.
Yeah, all yours.
Hey,
Have fun with that.
We've been thinking about it, and just like everybody else. We think we really think they'd be good for TV, so we're just gonna shut up. We're just gonna give it to you. Okay, bye.
on the other end, Jeff Loeb's trying to play it cool, but then he's like, guys, you gotta give us we got the big dog, you're totally ripping him off.
Meanwhile, he's like covering the phone to Jon Favreau, like, I think he's buying it. Yeah, I just think that we've really been undervaluing the TV side, and we really we want to give you a property that you could really do something with.
Yeah, it'll tie in with the movie.
Oh yeah, no, the movie's still coming out. Totally, this is gonna be your big chance to transition to the big screen.
This is our X-Men.
Hang on, I got another call. Kathleen? Yeah, he's buying it. It's crazy.
Oh, it's still you?
Oh, God.
I like the fact that Kathleen's just in on it.
Yeah,
no good
Kathleen
reason.
Kennedy. Yeah, they all just they
You
play
want to fire
pranks.
who? Yeah, okay, whatever. I'm on the other line. Josh who?
Like she also just hates Jeff.
That
for no
wasn't
good
one of
reason.
ours. I don't know him.
Good talk. Good talk. Wait, now should I wrap it up?
I think so.
All right.
Why not?
It's been good seeing you on whatever day this is and whatever year it is. Maybe we're on that streaming service right now, the one for the weird stuff. Bye.
Mr. Fantastic.